You're tuned in to Porch Talk with Rev Pat, where raw, real talk rules. So sit back and relax with that delicious cup of coffee or tea or your favorite glass of wine as Rev Pat delivers real, transparent, and raw conversations about all things life. Let's get started.
Welcome to the latest episode of Porch Talk. I'm your host, Rev Pat, and I'm already laughing and my throat is already tickling because I already know what's going to happen. I am going to introduce you to a lovely lady, Ruth Yunker. She is a 3-time author, and my favorite title is this, I'm the Boss of Me. That's it. And it talks all about how she found herself at 72. So don't ever say that you don't have more to give the older you get, because we do. It's a matter of how you choose to age. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, even a glass of wine. You might need that glass of wine on this one. And let's get talking with Miss Ruth Yunker. Miss Ruth, and she's a humorist, y'all. So get ready to laugh. Miss Ruth, the first thing I want to talk about is, where did you get that title from? I'm the boss of me. That was my attitude most of my life. So where did you get the title from? Where did it come from?
I got it because I finally at the age where I am the boss of me. For the first time in my life, I am living alone. About 4 years ago, I had husbands, then a single mother, then another husband and some stepchildren. And then I divorced that husband and my mother died. So I moved in with my father and I come from a big family, kind of ran our family house we had for years until then I saw him out. Then I got to live, and along the way, my pets, whom I loved, had all died too. So I was completely free, and I haven't gotten tired of being alone. Walk in the house, I don't have to look at the floor to see if there's an animal there or a baby crawling, or check in the elder's person's bedroom to see how they're doing. What do I want to eat for dinner? So baby, I'm the boss of me. And that's also, how when your children are little and they'll say to you when they're 3 years old, I'm the boss of me, you can't tell me what to do. That's kind of part of me feels that way. But I totally choose to do it in a more, quote, hopefully adult fashion.
But do you know what that reminds me of? It's that time in life where you really look forward to. And even, and I think let's say this, if we are confident in ourselves as women, you can even have a glimpse of, you're not the boss of me, even in a relationship.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That comes with your own, and I say that because I am blessed. I have a husband who supports my platform, a husband who supports my calling, and the things that I'm called to do. So in that way, that's my way of saying you're not the boss of me, because I get to do this thing, and it's separate from everything else that I've ever done. And at 62, stepping out on faith and doing something that I dreamed about as a young girl, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like total freedom. I'm now doing something that's not attached to everybody else. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, having your own thing to do. One of the things I love about being a writer is that when I write my books, I'm the boss of me. It's my own thing. It's not related to anybody else or anything else. And what I say in each one, well, I always will have an editor say, one editor made me take out every single swear word in my book, But you know what that did for me as a writer? What that did was, and I wasn't extreme, but there were more, damn it type comments in there than I knew when I started, because I said, okay, because you always say okay to your editor. I mean, you're just so grateful to be to that point. But, and they have a point too. They have a broader picture. But when I was taking out the words, it was interesting for me as a writer to have to put that emotion where we just throw that word out there, whether it's good or bad, to put it in the actual words of what I was feeling. to put it out in a full-on sentence. And sometimes it sounded so much better. And other times there's one word that, the F word, that one is perfect in and of itself.
All right, Samuel.
I mean,
all right.
And don't use it often. I don't use it often, but when I do, I was like when my mother was a Southerner, and when she would say, damn it to hell, we knew we were in trouble. Now, she hardly ever said it, but, and that word, I couldn't exchange, I just had to take it out. It did. And the book didn't change one bit from that.
And
that was a lesson for me to learn.
Now, I really, and I intended to get that book before, because I just the title of it. But let me tell you, that kind of explains why Samuel L. Jackson says that's his favorite word.
I know. I agree with him totally. I agree with anything that comes out of that man's mouth, frankly. He can come over here right now.
So any Samuel L. Jackson movie, you already know it's coming with a disclaimer. Be ready for it. Don't be offended, or either don't watch it. One of the two. Now, at the same time, the other thing that I love about your whole persona, when I went to your Instagram page, I told you I'm not playing. You made me want to shut mine down. I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. It was not what I expected. It is exactly it is so representative of you. Just the word vivacious just jumped off the page. I'm like, wow, wow, wow. Has it always been a part of your personality and it just didn't surface until everything else was clear? Or you just discovered it like, this has been waiting, I've been waiting to do this. Let me do this now.
I have to say it kind of evolved. It's always been a part of my personality. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and both my parents grew up in the South, and we were raised in New England. So I don't know what kind of mishmash we have there. But anyway, we're all very funny. We think we're funny. But some of our spouses, they usually just say, oh, whatever. They live through the meals. But so being funny, when I first started writing, which I first started writing seriously after I got divorced the first time, and I had 2 babies and I wanted to work at home, and I always knew I could write, and but I didn't want to because it seemed like a very boring way to live. But once you're stuck at home with a couple of babies, writing, and then anyway, but I started off with humor and also serious short stories for the literary aspect of it. But I liked humor right from the start. But when I was writing fiction, humorous fiction is a whole different story. I gradually evolved over the years to just writing now when I'm writing to please myself, and when I started independently publishing my books, I'm just going to write humor, because now that evolved from getting older and being so done with feeling beaten down with whatever was happening. I mean, when I was 13, Kennedy was assassinated, followed by Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. And then our rock stars started dying off of drug overdoses, and it was the Vietnam War. Everyone goes, oh, the 60s were so wild and crazy. Yeah, they were, but they were also dramatically awful. And I just, I don't like, I'm a Leo. I don't like feeling down. I don't approve of it, and I can go there. I can really go. Yeah, and by my age, after therapy, lots of yoga, I totally believe in yoga. My children being grown up and still in one piece, almost, basically. That's their life now, not my problem anymore. By the time you hit your 40s, my father said to me once, listen, you don't have a problem until your children turn 70. Then you gotta start worrying. So I'm not there yet, but they've just started bossing me around a little bit, and I'll take it from my children. I mean, that's unconditional love. So, but so it's always, I don't like to feel bad. I don't get off on it. I don't get off. I'm sitting on my couch here in Southern California, mourning or feeling really proud of myself for being really upset about what's going on in the rest of the world. I mean, I am inside. But is there anything, what can I do in my daily life that could help that situation? And that's when I get to what I was saying to you in the first place, what we were saying together, which was putting joy out into the world is also important and also powerful. Also powerful towards feeling better about getting older and older and older and older, you know,
Mhm.
which is what I'm doing in spite of myself.
Look, what-
72 is an appalling age. Oh my God.
look, let me tell you, when it really dawned on me that I was aging,
Yes.
because I don't feel like it. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it. And so at the start of the pandemic, I was calling everybody I know, right? And I'm going, I just want to make sure that you have masks or you're staying home and da 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 da, because we need to really take care of our elderly. This is me calling everybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to, I forget who it was, and I said the same thing over again that I had said several calls before. Just come and check on you and making sure how's your mom, so forth and so on. We need to take care of our elderly people, make sure that they're in the house. And Holy Spirit went, do you not know you're elderly? And I'm like, I'm not elderly. And the Holy Spirit said, oh yeah, you are. You are in that category. When they say 60 and over, you're in that category. So I'm like, wait a minute. I am considered the elderly. I'm just thinking this whole thing, epiphany hit me. Well, what other word can I use? Am I going to now start calling people and say, we need to take care of us? Because now I'm talking about you and me. Because
I mean,
I got this
seriously.
revelation that, wait a minute. I mean, who thinks about it, 60 and whatever up, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I happened to listen to one of the commercials or whatever. And they said, well, this is really kind of dangerous for our elderly people 60 and up. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm in that category and I don't even feel like it. So I'm saying that to say, when I think about your vivaciousness, we can have that. We don't, you don't have to crawl up in a corner.
No.
Just die.
I got stuck at the first 3 months. I flew to Oregon to visit my daughter and my son-in-law, they're her family up there. And on March 12th, 2020, and the very next day, the world shut down basically. And she said, you're not going anywhere. And I ended up being there she's a lawyer too. My son's a psychologist. So he says, how does that make you feel, Mom? And my daughter is a lawyer and she says, just the facts, Mom, just give me the facts. Did you read the contract all the way through? No, I never read the contract. That kind of thing. But she said, you're not going anywhere. So one day she said, I came out of the bedroom not having listened to the news and all that. And she said to me, Mom, so see, you're over 70 and I'm not supposed to let you go outside. She was kidding. But that was when they were saying, that 70-year-olds all of a sudden couldn't go out or shouldn't, go outside or something. And I was completely offended. Like you were saying, I mean, you know what? 500 years ago, people died at 50. 200 years ago, they died at 70. Now they're starting to die in their late 90s. I mean, if you basically have a healthy life and you're not struck down by a serious illness that's going to carry you off, you can live longer. And if you're going to live longer, hang on to your vitality.
I told my doctor, I don't want to be the little old lady with the pill box.
No.
What?
You know what my son says to me? He says, I wasn't working out or something enough for him. He's a fitness fanatic and he knows everything. It's just one of those things. He's just one of those. And I call him on it all the time because occasionally I will pull the mommy thing. But he said, you don't want to be one of those skinny little weak old ladies, Mom. You've got to work out really. Anyway, I signed up for boxing lessons the other day.
Boxing lessons. Oh, so what is your regimen every day for the women listening that are, right around our age, in our age group? Any woman, really. Anyone. And disclaimer, honest disclaimer. I hate exercise. That's what I told myself. I hate exercising.
Oh.
My other one was I hate healthy food. I don't want to eat. I don't want, I'm serious.
Oh, my son would take you in line immediately.
Miss Ruth, I'm a Southern girl.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is nothing, born and raised Southern girl. I do soul food. I don't do a plate with just some broccoli on it that just got popped into the air fryer and drizzled with some olive oil. That's not me. It really is not me. Okay. So
Oh, I get it.
I'm saying this as for those that thought like me. That's how I thought. Working in offices before I retired, they say, well, we're making a quick run to Starbucks. What would you like? And everybody else is ordering ginger tea or something. I don't know. And I'm the one going, I need a caramel macchiato with extra Cool Whip and extra caramel. Oh my God, are you going to drink that? I most certainly am. So I go to the doctor late last summer, over a finger. I went over a finger. And long story short, I walked out with a pharmacy and I'm in shock. I'm like, what the heck happened? You didn't even tell me what to do with my finger. You just gave me all of this stuff. What are you doing? And he's running down all of this stuff. And I'm looking at him like, do you really think I understand a word that's coming out of your mouth? But I took it to heart because when you know better, do better. Ladies, when you know better, do better. When you are like me, who was walking around with not one symptom, none, and you find out that you need to do better, do better.
Yeah.
So he took away my lovely ranch dressing. He did all of that. And so even, look, I have a doctor that gave me a recipe for dressing to make sure I follow what he said. And I say that to say that I did start exercising. And I found out that I loved it. It wasn't anything great or grand. None of that. But I felt better. I did feel better. And I was excited and I felt confident that I had done it. That I actually, after all of these years of saying, I hate this. Well, lo and behold, the holidays came. And I said, I'm going to cheat just during the holidays. Well, in my life, obviously the holidays don't end until after April. So what is your regimen and what is your suggestion to people like me? And now I know that once I start over again, it's going to be just as hard as it was when I first did it.
Yeah.
But what is your regimen and how did you become, you said your son is into it. And I just did the worst thing because they say when you're interviewing, don't talk. I don't know how to do that. I'm a preacher. I don't know how to do that. That's not for me. But how do you stay so dedicated or committed to it? Or do you just love it? Is it just something that you just love doing?
Well, it all started when I was 20 and my father had his first bypass surgery, or maybe I was a little younger than that. And my older brother started jogging, and this was back in the 60s. That was kind of a new thing. And then when I was married to my first husband, we moved from Los Angeles to Chicago, and promptly both of us gained a ton of weight. And I was like, oh my God. And he said, and I love to eat. Let me preface that by saying, I love to eat. I love junk food. I love good food. I refuse to eat fish. I grew up Catholic. We had to have fish every Friday, and I cannot look at it. Yeah. Let me tell you, there's nothing to kill liking fish than having grown up Catholic in the 50s. But and my mother was a good cook, but anyway, but I started jogging then too. Oh, my husband said to me, the young husband, he said, well, if you just start jogging, you can do a little exercise and eat what you want. So I think that would be my thing to say, is that if you both need to start exercising and lose weight, or you just want to feel better, the more you exercise, the more you can eat. And the other thing is, though, as I've gotten, and so I've jogged, I've taken ballet for years, I hit yoga just before, the other thing I've done, and I do talk about this openly, is I got sober at 50. I stopped drinking. I had a bad problem with it. It runs in my family, and my son had a bad problem, and he was coming home from a rehab where he'd been for a year. And although alcohol wasn't his issues, he was a nice, 80s kid. So certain psychedelic drugs were his problem. And I thought, I cannot keep drinking like this when he comes home. I can't. And I knew I had a problem. I didn't know you were supposed to quit drinking, but anyway, so, and I, who knew? I thought you were just supposed to control it.
Oh,
But
you
my
didn't stop. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I stopped them. I went to my therapist recommend she had never said a word to me. It was up to me to think, notice. And she suggested AA, and so did my son, very carefully from rehab. I mean, he was like 21 years old and had to drop out of college and everything. He's fine now. He got himself pulled together about 3 years later and went back to school and everything. But I went to AA and quit drinking, and that was a huge change in my life. And that's when I think I really came into myself. That's when I had just started yoga before that. And it was just a new way of being. Like, now, people that are not alcoholics and are drinking, they're fine. That is not part of the conversation here. That's just fine. It's like, I can eat sugar and not worry about it and stuff like that. But for an alcoholic to quit drinking and get over the obsession to it, it's like jumping off a cliff. And I felt that way. Like I was going to land in the water, go down deep, 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 deep. I had to get myself back up to the surface. And when I got to the surface, I didn't know what I was going to find or who I was going to be, but I just knew I had to quit the alcohol. And it was amazing. It was very, very difficult. I've been sober now for 22 years, and I never think about it. And when I first stopped drinking, I went into Starbucks to get my, everything on it thing. And the mother was walking out, and she had her she looked like she was about 2, the little baby. She was still walking, but hanging on to mommy's hand. And she was just looking around, just alive with light and curiosity and just healthy, and you knew there wasn't a thing in her body that wasn't perfect for her. Right. I'm not aiming for perfection, but when I looked at her, I thought, I want what you have. And that's how I felt about alcohol. Now, the other side of having given up alcohol and it being an extremely difficult thing to do when you are an alcoholic is I will never have to give up anything again. And I can have whatever I want at any time. Barbecue potato chips are one of my favorites. And I've got some magnificent cookies in the refrigerator up there. But I exercise. Exercise is the ticket. And as when you started doing this and you felt better, you really do feel better. Part of my joie de vivre is how good I feel. How good I feel when I wake up. I mean, I might not be in a good mood, but physically my body is saying, oh, thank you. I sleep well. First thing I do in the morning when I get up, because where I live, everywhere. I quit jogging about right when I took up yoga. I'd had it with jogging. I'm so happy I got to quit that in yoga. I did yoga, and I've ridden horses. I've done Pilates. I've done a lot of things. And like I said to you earlier, I'm going to try boxing because I'd like to know how to hit somebody really hard. Not that I want to, but I want that sense of power, like I've got little girly kind of, ew. I can't play tennis. The ball hits my racket and knocks it backwards. I can't do anything that includes trying to get little balls in a little hole, 5 trillion yards away with a golf. It's all got to be dance oriented, or, it's just you doing your thing.
Just me doing my thing. Now, I'll tell you, listening at you, I'm laughing in my head because every week I go, okay, honey, we're going to start over again. Okay, honey, we're going to start over again. But then I remember that I still have a half a gallon of ice cream in the freezer.
Oh, ice
cream is expensive, and I'm not throwing that out. I'm not ignoring it. And I don't know what I was doing. I was just chilling. I think it was Saturday because I don't do interviews or anything on Saturdays. And I'm just chilling, walking around the house, and I don't have my podcast face on. I get up every morning at about 3:30, and I do a 6:30 a.m. live devotional every single morning. And
well, then you that got me, my jaws dropped. That is remarkable. Give yourself power and congrats for that.
Well, I love it. And I get up and do that. But on Saturdays, you get whatever I feel like that day. If I feel like throwing on some eye makeup and whatever. Um, and that comes from my Southern, background. My mother, we didn't walk around in pajamas and things like that. You got up, you got dressed, you got yourself together as if you were going somewhere. And where were we going? Nowhere. But the other day I was looking in the mirror and it was just after I'd had the thought, well, next week I'm going to get back on it. I'm going to start again. And I'm combing my hair and I had on a t-shirt, short sleeve t-shirt. Y'all, the women listening, y'all know what I'm about to say and y'all going to relate to this really well. And I looked and I went, who the heck, whose arms are those?
Yeah, don't get me started. Look at, there's my arms. They're covered.
And I'm like in the mirror going, those are not, is this what people see? Why don't I see this?
The terrible moment. You have my sympathy. I understand.
And I'm like, what the heck? And then my whole, my mind goes into overdrive. Now I'm upset with hubby because why didn't you tell me I had these? What in the world are you talking about? And, everybody goes because I'm short and because I'm small and because I'm petite. But folk, you women, y'all know when you throw those pajamas on and hubby get to pulling on stuff and you're going, do you really think I like that? I don't like that. That's a reminder that I need to exercise. It's not cute. I'm not feeling that, But this whole thing went through my head after looking at my arms. And then I found myself on a live one day going, is that my neck? And I'm trying to do a devotional. I'm trying to do a devotional and I'm live. And I'm really thinking to myself, is that really my neck? That is not my neck. All of these crazy things that we think. And I'm here to tell you, ladies, that the reason why I wanted Miss Ruth on here is to let you know you're not the only one. That's why I wanted her here. You're not the only one. I think we all at some point, unless you're perfect, and I'm
nobody's perfect.
Perfect Patty. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those of us that wake up to the realities of getting older and not feeling it. It's so jarring when you don't feel it. But then you see the natural progression of aging and whatever. And on my feel good days, I don't think about it. It doesn't bother me. It's those Saturdays that jolt me back into reality. Or I have a 3 and a 4-year-old grandson that I get to chase around the house. Yeah. So I'm never going to age. I'm always going to be young.
Yeah.
In that sense, because they won't let me.
It all starts with your brain. I mean, I finally understood the word ageless. Okay. People bandy it around. I was like, yeah, ageless. I get it. Katharine Hepburn. I mean, Lena Horne. I mean, just gorgeous women including.
Ain't she ridiculous? Lena Horne was ridiculous. It's like, who looks that good at her age?
Yeah. Well, of course, they all do airbrush. So, I do airbrush on my Instagram. So, I mean, everybody does airbrush. And why not? Why not? People our age will say, oh, a selfie, and they get all shy about it. And I'm saying, no, in the old days, that was called self-portrait. Rembrandt did it. When you take your own picture, for once, you can get a decent picture of yourself. I mean, we're bombarded by images of celebrities looking perfect. I mean, they airbrush 16-year-old faces because you know what those models have that we can't see? Acne. They don't take care of themselves. They're 6'10" and they weigh 20 pounds, but they can really not oppose it. I mean, but I turned 70 and was, everybody I know knows who I was turning 70, but I was really, really shocked by it. I wasn't going to talk about it, but then I decided, okay, 70. And, I said I was my 70th birthday, and lots of people said, oh my God, that's so great. And so on and so forth. And then suddenly I was 71. I was like, oh, okay. And then suddenly I was 72. Last summer, I turned 72. And when I woke up that morning, I looked in the mirror. I always make myself smile because I'm convinced that my brain is saying, oh, you're in a good mood. Maybe it'll help me be in a good mood. And I looked at myself and I thought, well, if this is 72, I'm sure as heck surprised. And I didn't expect to feel this good or look this good or be this involved, and I don't know what I expected. I mean, I'm in a better mood now than 16, never mind. Teenagers, I was not in a good mood. But, even 20s and 30s, 50s were, well, they've all had their good and bad moments, the decades, but I didn't expect to be kind of this psychologically lighter. And I think part of it is if we allow ourselves as we get older, one of the things all of us have, regardless of what we think and who we are and what our backgrounds are, we have a certain amount of innate wisdom that we're just getting in spite of ourselves by simply having to walk out the door for 71 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
People say to me, how do you describe what is wisdom? And this last chapter in my book, and it's like, I don't specifically know what wisdom is. I think wisdom is different for every age. When I was 16, I had a 6-year-old sister. I certainly knew more than she did, and wisdom doesn't necessarily mean how much you know or getting it right. I think personally, for me, wisdom is working on saying to yourself, I am friggin' gonna be happy today. I'm gonna figure out how to do that, because it takes practice. So like learning to like exercise. Exercise is such a terrible word. See, my daughter is more like you, although she's lost 30 pounds. She's the complete opposite of her brother, above it all. She's a horseback rider, I don't know. But is to find something that's easy. For me, it's walking now. I mean, I walk briskly, but getting back to the daily routine, which I think helps me personally, doing yoga for me is a spiritual practice. It's all about the breathing. It has a wonderful history. It's not just stretching. It can be powerful. There's all types of ways to do it. When there's something wrong with me, I will Google yoga exercises to help that. It's like I have scoliosis and lower back arthritis, which is a constant issue, and getting worse as I've gotten older, but brought on by injuries when I was younger, doing all my, really tough yoga and, jogging and all, and like ballet dancers, how they look so graceful, but every muscle is engaged. And by 52, they're having hip replacements. That's kind of
wow.
That's what you can kind of do to your body if you overdo it, which I think certainly my generation, we did, baby boomers, Jane Fonda doing her exercise routines with the leggings and all of that, no, the leg warmers.
Yeah,
What happened to leg warmers? I love those.
Yeah, leg warmers.
They're called. Find something you like to do. But anyway, also, just being practical, I drink a lot of water. Don't tell me it's going to make you go to the bathroom all night. That's too bad. Your body likes it, helps you digest. It helps your skin. There you go. Here we go.
And I did not drink water. I did not. You could not get me to drink a glass of water, bottle of water, glass of water, cup of water, unless it was mixed in with some caffeine or within a can of Coke. It's not happening. But ladies, I'm not joking. Once I started drinking this, yes, I had to go to the bathroom a lot, but
Look what it's doing for you. Yes. Shows up on your face.
Yeah, it really did. So all of this stuff I figured I was like, okay, I got to go back and tell everybody I ever talked about. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I made fun of you for drinking water.
Now, you don't have to apologize.
I'm so sorry. I know the next time you see me and you see me order with a bottle of water, you're going to wonder what happened, or is this really me? Yeah, it's really me. And I even now have, like, my best friends tell, hey, I need you to remind me to drink water. And we remind one another, okay, I haven't been drinking water like I should. You need to start doing it. But I don't know what exercise I enjoy. I really don't. I'm not outdoors. I don't know. It's something weird was happening with me. I cannot stand.
My daughter, she's the same thing.
I don't do the outdoors. I live in Texas, and which what some people call a good day here in the summertime is about 101, 102. You're not gonna catch me doing it. I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, no. I believe in air conditioning, and I don't know what to tell you, except you can get a treadmill.
But I have a bike. I bought a bike. I really did. I invested in a bike. And one day I'm gonna get on it again because I did use it once. Um, it's just
The exercise
I'm
thing
the
is
type of, I need a person that's gonna say, okay, you can do this. And really, when I was doing the little exercises, I really did enjoy it. It was that holiday thing, and they getting back on it and looking at it and going, okay, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. But I wanted to ask you about that because it's worth seeing. It means more seeing a person that is vivacious and is doing it. And it makes you feel like, okay, you need to shut up, girl, and just do the dang on thing. Going to the gym, not gonna happen.
I don't like the gym. I don't
I'm
like
too OCD. I'm too OCD.
Oh yeah, I know, right? 1, 2, 3. Now the counting.
If I watch, if I watch somebody on a machine and you walk me over to that same machine and I saw all of that sweat and stuff, I'm not touching that, brother. I'm not, no, we're not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Oh, you can figure it out inside your house. And the other thing is,
And see, that's what tell women how they can do it in their homes, because I did.
well, okay, first of all, I'm not one who loves these, but there's so many things you can get on your computer, you know, where you're doing the class with somebody else. But I really recommend, again, this is kind of an AA thing, one step at a time. For one thing, it's not every single day. It's not like tomorrow you're going to start, you know, exercising and eating lettuce all day long. No, you've got to get the days in there where you can eat what you darn well please. You can have the day. I mean, I exercise 3 days a week. I mean, I walk every morning because I like it. And psychologically that helps me, but I also drink coffee, you know, and my son totally disapproves of coffee. But anyway, we can ignore him. I'm not going to mention him again, much as I love him. But, you know, it's when you get out of bed, get coffee. If that's what you like first, get it. Sit there with your coffee. Give yourself an hour of doing whatever it is you like to do. I have my journal at someplace on my desk here with my journal and my coffee, or my phone on social media because I'm saying hi to those that I, you know, are posting my picture or whatever, doing that. But and I don't eat after 6:30 or 7. Because I like to go to bed feeling a little bit hungry because I can eat what I want in the morning.
Okay.
Classic, eat most in the morning, a little bit less at lunch, and really try to tone down that dinner, but not every day. You know, like if you get it right one day a week for a while, you know, this morning I woke up and it was 6 a.m. the alarm, and I get up and I have a little bit of coffee, and then I go for a walk that for me is wonderful because I can go right to a boardwalk on the ocean, flat, completely flat. I just feel good, you know, and it's good for my body and my back and everything, my scoliosis. But this morning I woke up and I thought, I don't want to go for a walk on a mat. So I didn't. I haven't done any exercise yet today. I probably won't.
I just love you to death. I'm not doing that today.
No.
Now, that's encouraging because I think that when you're just starting out and you're trying to become disciplined about all of this, I think the pressure is that you want to, you're trying to morph into this, I don't know, I'm going to do it every day, and beat yourself up if you don't do it every day. Now, I can do the 3 days a week. I can start off with 2 because I cleared my calendar. Yeah, I cleared my calendar on certain days where I don't do any interviews. That was for my sanity. And now I can just slip exercise in there for about an hour, hour and a half, whatever I can.
It doesn't even, no. And that's the other thing. It does not need to be an hour long at all. My yoga practice at night before I go to bed and my stretching out exercises in the morning that I do, each one of them are 15 to 20 minutes. Now they're twice a day, but they're 15 and 20 minutes long, or a half an hour. But saying an hour and a half, yoga classes used to be an hour and a half, and that's just too darn long, especially if you're, you know, got a short attention span like I do too, or thinking, oh my God, it's going to take me. If I can say to myself, you know, I just don't feel like doing that today, I say, Yeah, it takes you a whole 15 minutes, and you've spent the last 2 hours dreading the 15 minutes.
When you could have done the 15 minutes and
I could be done, and it doesn't have to
it.
be done perfectly. You don't even have to put on the right clothes. I mean, when you're first starting out, all you have to do is stand up, walk around your house. If you've got
Wow.
stairs, kind of tippy toe up them. I've got my little stairs back there. It's sort of a short flight, but I live in a duplex. I'm upstairs. So I've got this flight of stairs, and I can always tell what to get up here. And I can always tell kind of if I'm really falling behind, if I can't kind of force myself to run up them, cheerfully. I mean, I can run up them like, oh God, or I'm not running up these stairs today. And then I say, okay, and get on those little stairs, but it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. That's the biggest trick. And the other thing, a lot of these are AA and yoga statements wrapped up together that I've learned that are my favorites. Fake it till you make it. And that one is simply, yeah, I exercise. I don't like it, but I do it anyway because I feel so good. Maybe you did a few little tiny squats for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is more than you did yesterday. And when I am in bed at night, when I lay down, I started this practice and it really helps. Instead of running through my head, what did I do wrong today? Or what didn't I do? Or that to-do list that keeps getting longer and longer. I even add things onto it that I have done so I can cross them off and look like I've done something today that I'm supposed to do, not just what I want to do, But seriously, that business of laying there and thinking, okay, what are 3 things I did right? What are they? Did you make dinner? Did you, whatever that for yourself. Oh, hey, I did do that. I had a great conversation with my daughter on the phone, or I spoke to my next door neighbor whom I haven't seen in 6 months. I don't know what it is. I smiled at the stranger on the sidewalk, whatever that you feel pleased about, to remind yourself at the end of the day. Don't go over that list of what you didn't do.
Why do we do
so
that?
with exercise,
Why do we do that? And we do that.
Yeah,
Isn't that great? Oh my God, I meant to do so and so. Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't do. We do that. That is such a no-brainer.
I know.
I don't think about the fact that we do it. But as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, I do that.
And I think women do that more than men.
More than anything.
My husbands were both lovely. I just was sick of being married I could get married again in the future. I still, I could see that happening, or not married so much anymore, but they don't worry about it. Sometimes when I'm in a jam, or like when I'm traveling alone and something's gone wrong with the airlines or whatever, I want to throw a fit and I can't because I'm alone, so there's nothing worse than an older woman having a meltdown in an airport by herself.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is something worse. It's an angry Black woman. Having a fit.
Oh, that scares me to even think about it.
I got you. But
well, you know what I mean. So
I understand totally what you're saying. I don't have anybody to vent to and whatever. But Miss Ruth, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine you being anywhere where someone is not just drawn to you like a magnet with all this.
When the chips are down, though, I say to myself, what would a man do? Sometimes when it's like that, what would a man do? Because you know how they come to a decision. We want to cry about it. And I love being a woman. I love my women friends, and I love crying and moaning and getting support and giving support and advice. But we can go on forever. And a man is over it the first time we've told him our problems with Susie down the street. I mean, then don't look at Susie, ignore Susie.
Why are you talking to her? Why are you still talking to her?
Yeah.
If you're not getting anything out of it, why are you still talking to her?
Yeah, and they would be done with it.
And they're through. That's it. They're done with it. And
it's not like be a man. It's not like to be a man, but it's once in a while, run that little train of thought through your head, like, oh, okay, well, first I'm going to spend the next 6 years being mad at her, but then I'll maybe get over it, but I mean, I just think our brains are so wonderful because they can help us change our ways. Like, we have it grooved. I'm sure you've all read these articles. Grooved, certain patterns of being are grooved in our brain, and we can change them. It's slowly, but it takes practice. Like, it takes practice to be happy. It takes practice to say, even yesterday, I was doing something, I glanced at myself in the mirror and I'm looking, cheerful about whatever it was. And I went, oh my God, I had no idea this is what 72 would feel like,
Wouldn't it be beautiful?
Yeah, and I worked for it. I've been through a lot of things,
Right.
the highs and the lows. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I earned
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
I earned this little corner on the end of my dining room table. I earned sitting here and doing this. And I'm not worried about the big scale. Every once in a while, somebody will send me an email and it'll say, this is what you should be doing. And this is, and I'm like,
I had people telling me that too.
No, I don't want to do my podcast like that. I don't want to talk to people like that. I don't want to spend, I don't have hours to just spend trying to do all of this other stuff just to sit with someone and talk and have a real honest conversation about it. And if I'm led to be vulnerable, be vulnerable. If I'm led to be transparent, I'm led to be transparent. I just want to talk to
while
people and hear
eating
about
cupcakes.
their
I had a
life.
big cupcake yesterday. I would say while eating cupcakes. I had a big cupcake yesterday with sprinkles on it and lots of icing.
Yes. Yeah, y'all see? I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. So Miss Ruth, in closing, will you please promise to come back? I'm gonna send you a link.
Oh, I will.
I'll have my coffee, you have your tea. I might even have a glass of wine, and we're just gonna sit.
You
We're
have
gonna
that
talk
glass
about,
of wine.
we're
Absolutely.
gonna talk about girl stuff.
Yes.
And stuff, and let's just talk about how we think differently. And when you come back, most definitely, I want to hear about the favorite place. There are only two places I've ever wanted to visit: Paris and Hawaii.
Oh,
And
wow.
that coming from a woman who is terrified of flying, cannot stand to be in a plane.
Well, take one of those
I'm-
little pills, puts you to sleep.
I will live vicariously through you because I want to hear about your trip alone to Paris. I just want to hear all about it. So I'm going to send you a link, and y'all, if y'all want to hear that conversation, if you think she's something right now, I can't imagine where she's going to be when we just sit and just chat for real. But if you want to hear that conversation, you're going to have to subscribe to the podcast on Zippy Stream, ZIPISTREAM. That's where you get exclusive bonus content. I'm getting ready to start really putting some stuff there. You might even hear me just talking about stuff that's passionate to me.
I would love to listen to that.
May not be passionate to you, but some things that I'm really passionate about, because I'm one of those crazy Arsenio Hall thinking people that goes, I hear something crazy and I go, and that might be what you hear, and it's going to be real and it's going to be uncut. So you need to check out Zippy Stream, ZIPSTREAM. You want to get the second part of this conversation that I'm having with Miss Ruth Yunker, a 72-year-old author and vivacious. Y'all want to hear that?
Not to be so hard. It's not hard.
Not hard at all.
It is persistent. You have to be persistent,
And please, y'all, check out her book.
Yeah.
I'm the boss of me. I'm the boss of me. Y'all need to check that out. So join me right back here next week on the porch. Once again, thank you, Miss Ruth Yunker, for joining us. As I always say, y'all be blessed. Be intentional about embracing the blessings that each day holds. More importantly, be intentional about being a blessing to somebody else. That's what we're here for. See y'all next week.